Hey, welcome to this video. I want to talk to you about this last weekend where I did 2 different matches. So let's get into this. Gonna need to be hydrated for this one. Okay, so this last weekend I had on Saturday an IDPA match with our local group, and then on Sunday I had a PRS rifle match. So needless to say, I'm very busy and my arms, everything, I am very sore, and I am paying for all the activities that I got into this last weekend. So let's talk about the pistol match real quick. It ended up being like a fairly cold day. It was supposed to be in the 40s. It ended up being right around mid 30s and upper 20s for most of the morning. We had a cloud cover, sun never came out, and it was just a very windy and miserably cold day. So as the match started, I wasn't too concerned about keeping track of things. My dad ended up coming out to kind of watch and support, hang out with me. So after the first 2 stages, I had a little bit of confidence built up. So I do have some footage from the 3rd stage and possibly the 4th one. But my dad said he couldn't figure out the camera, so it might have done something funky. So I might have missed part of the 4th stage. But if I have that footage, I'll throw that in here as well. So the first 2 stages, they were nothing too crazy. Ended up, one of them, I think I got a plus 1 second. Second one I did pretty clean. Third one, so this is the one that kind of cost me really the match. I had one procedural error. So in IDPA, you're supposed to engage the targets as they become visible to you. And the way this one was set up, I was trying to run through the stage, and I had in my mind like the fastest way to move, and I didn't take into account one target location. So as I was moving forward, that target became visible. In my head, I was planning to shoot him once I got up to the barrier wall and then lean over and get him. But the way that I ran it, I should have seen him in the doorway and engaged him right then and then finished moving forward. Since I didn't do that, that cost me 3-second penalty. Other than that, I ran the whole stage clean and got all good hits. Then one other stage, I got another +1. Then so the last stage, they ran it as a 5x5 qualifier, or classifier, I think they call it, 5x5 classifier. So it's just like draw, take 5 shots, reholster. The next one is draw 5 shots, strong hand only, reholster. The next one is draw 5 shots, reload 5 shots, and then reholster. And then the last one is draw 4 shots on the body and 1 in the head box. So let's just say at that point of the day, my hands were very cold. The batteries had run out in my heated gloves, so I did not have very warm hands, and some snow had actually started falling. As I was starting my stage, I heard people behind me, "Is that snow?" And yeah, it was snow. Anyways, it was just a real light falling. Like it wasn't sticking to anything or like impeding vision or anything, but it was that cold and windy that it was just that extra little bit of uncomfortableness. And by that point, I was not getting a good grip. I was feeling the effects of the weather at that point. Ended up having 10 penalty seconds on that stage, my absolute worst stage. But for the overall, I ended up getting second. My final total score with all your penalties and everything added in, I was at 152.31, and the winner, he was at 148.14. So I was like 4.2 seconds away from winning the overall. So if I hadn't made that one procedural error and I got like 2 better shots on that last stage, I could have got the overall, but I had a few bobbles that cost me the overall, and the other guy, he ran a much cleaner match than I did. So I didn't do back-to-back wins from the October night match to this one, but I'm still pretty happy with the second overall, especially considering how cold it was and how my hands were hurting. I felt so much pain in my hands. But the Shadow Systems ran great, did good. Optic, everything worked out really good. The holster that I was showing off, that worked well. I was able to use my jacket and get a pretty decent draw. There was a couple stages towards that last one that I was just getting so tired. I was forgetting that I need to pull close to the body, and I was trying to pull out and away. So I got hung up a couple times. Cost me, partial seconds, half a second here and there. But that's just things I need to work on more in the future. So overall, pretty happy with the results. Wish I would have done a little bit better, but that's not how it worked out. So then I finished that, ran back to town and got to work, finished the rest of the day at work, and caught up on a couple hours worth of other things. We closed at 3 on Saturdays in January and February, and I ended up staying there till about 7. So then I get home, unload all the pistol stuff, get all my rifle stuff that doesn't have batteries or isn't really dependent on how cold it gets. Go ahead and get that loaded up in the truck, get everything else set up by the front door, and then managed to get to bed a little bit early, for me at least, and woke up about 4:30 in the morning on Sunday and started moving around. I'm really bad at getting up early in the morning. It takes me a while to get moving, but I mean, once I'm up and going, I'm on it and moving. So get out the door, made it there about 10 minutes before start time, and got up. We split into 2 groups. There was about 5 in my group and 4 or 5 in the other group. So there's either 9 or 10 total people there. And we got split up. My group started on the prone. The other guys started on the positional stages. Okay, so this one up on the hill, I did try to get some drone footage afterwards, and this place is really hard to see the targets, even when I'm trying to fly over them with the drone. So I'll put in some of the footage just so you can kind of get an idea of the landscape of the area. But the first 3 stages from up on the hill in the prone position were very difficult to see the targets. The sun was coming up, and the way the angle of the sun was and the targets, it was very easy to lose track of them. And then there was some of them where the light coming in from the scope was like washing out everything behind it. So I, got lost on a couple of the stages trying to find where the targets were. But overall, there would have been a maximum of 58 hits or 58 shots that you needed to take, and I actually got off 57 shots. So besides the very first stage where I just lost track of the targets and spent too much time trying to reacquire some of them, I only got 9 of the 10 off on that one, but every other stage I got all my shots off in time. And that was an improvement for me because I had been moving kind of slow through some of the stages and not even getting all my shots off before. So pretty happy with that improvement. Now I got about a 56% hit rate. So out of the maximum score of 58, I got 32 hits overall. So the first one, a troop line. So you're just finding first target and engage it twice, find the second, engage it twice, third, fourth, etc. So out of the 5 targets there, I got 10 maximum shots. So I got 7 hits on that one. Then the next troop line was even a little bit trickier. I only got 6 hits on that one. And then the next one is kind of a similar troop line going in a different direction. And I was off a little bit on my calculations, I believe, on my Kestrel. So the first 2 targets, I missed both of those. And then No, the first target I missed completely. The second target, I kind of figured out where I was off on my adjustment, so I held a different position on the target and ended up getting 2 hits on that one. Move on to the next one, got 1 out of 2. Then the fourth one, I got 1 out of the 2. And then the last one up on the top of the hill there, I missed both of those. I was just a hair. I should have made some more adjustments. I was trying to correct by holding off of the target a little bit, and I'm just not good enough at doing that yet to have properly compensated. So that one I did. That was one of my worst stages. I only got 4 out of the 10 there. So next we move to the positional stuff. First one is pyramid, so it's just some railroad ties stacked up, and you've got to shoot from 5 different positions and take 2 shots, move, take 2 shots, move, take 2 shots, move. So you're kind of going stair-stepping, low, mid, up high, mid, and then back down low. So on this one, I was starting to realize after that previous stage that I was thinking some of my Kestrel data was wrong. So I was trying to fiddle with it a bit more than I probably should have, but I got close and I missed my first 2, 4, I think I missed the first 5, and then I finally started realizing where I needed to hold off and started getting hits on 6, and then 7, 8, and 9 I got hit. So I got 4 total hits. I was down to the last couple seconds, and I tried to run the last shot just super fast. Like, I mean, I broke the shot and then ran the bolt and broke the shot like super fast. But the target was swinging by then. I don't know if I would have hit it if it had been sitting stationary, but it was on a strap, so it was moving around when I took my shot. I don't know. Either way, I missed that last one. On that stage, I got to finally put into use this Creedmoor bag. So this was that heavy bag that I was showing in my video with all the bags. And it's got weights on the arc plate here, and then a rather heavy sandbag here. And this ended up being great because it was flat surfaces that we were shooting on, so I was able to just drop my rifle and boom, and it just set flat. Wonderful. I was very happy with that. And then I had this on and had it around my neck, so I was holding it tucked up under my arm here. And I haven't practiced with this very much. Weather has been terrible the last few weeks, and I did not get to put this into practice before I went out there. So for the first half of that stage, I kind of forgot I had this on, and once I remembered, I was trying to get it tucked up under my arm and try to keep my right arm from wiggling around as much. So I just need to get some more practice actually using this, and that should help me overall. But this worked really well. I was very happy. Typically I was trying to use the game changer here, and this great. I'm just not so good at grabbing it, moving it, and plopping it down, letting it get settled. Just more things I need to work on. But I think this will be better on things where you've got like an angled surface that you're trying to rest the bag on, because this can get a little more situated and then make more of a flat spot. I think this is going to be the bag that I'm going to use whenever we've got a flat prop that we're shooting off of. But we'll see how that idea goes in the future. So anyways, then we move over to the next location. There's like an old Ford Ranger. We shoot off the hood off, and it's called Road Hunter. This one only had 8 shots, so 4 targets there. The first one, I kept losing place of where the first target was, and I thought I had it down, and I volunteered to go first in my group, and I got up and got set down onto the hood of the Ranger and get on the scope, and I could not find the target at all. When I took my first shot, I think he had just called like a minute 20, so I wasted 40 seconds, I think 40, or it might have been a minute, but I spent too much time trying to find the first target. Once I found him though, boom, boom, I got some hits, moved on to the second one. I think I missed that one, then moved on to the third one and got hits, moved on to the pig, the last target at 615. And I mean, I think I had 10 seconds when I was finishing the third target. So I moved to the fourth target and boom, boom. And I got all my shots off, but out of the 8 total that I could have scored on that one. I got 5. So still finished pretty decent. I just lost complete awareness of where the first target was, and that threw me off. But I did a really good job of picking up speed as I went through the stage. So I was really happy with how that worked out, and still managed to get pretty good hits. So I got to remember how that stage felt to run after I got the target acquired, and I need to do that more on future stages, because that'll give me better performance later on in the future.
Like a running back in his old days, still rocking those OJs. My paycheck's got a little bigger, but that don't change me or make me richer. Money come and the money go, but my guy's here and he's staying with you. Blowing up off the internet. All these haters need to introspect, cause they been hating while the rest love him. And I started going down their intellect, cause I've been a threat since day one. No money or bank funds, since y'all been saying you can do it better, but none of y'all ever made one. That realness, don't feel this, but I've been sick, that illness. I've been fresh like Will Smith since 94, man, I built this. Stressed out, X'd out, missed calls from my ex now, but I'm staying focused in the lab, baby. I don't need your calls or your text now. God say the boy blessed now. Who am I to say Rondo? And the way that I sell ticks, they been calling me Rondo. 23 in my prime though, finna ball like Lonzo. Go and tell everybody talking stage better be in that convo.
Wrong target.
Go down below that one.
Down and to the left.
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Impact. Squirrel. Hill. 35 seconds. Off his nose. Over his back. Bobcat up and left. Impact. Impact. 13. Pig. Impact. Impact. Way to come alive at the end. Got you for 5.
Rabbit, whatever.
Then the last stage is called the culvert. So there's a concrete culvert. You get set up on there. There's a old burnt out junked car with a target in the driver and passenger side inside the car, and then 2 targets outside of the back trunk on the driver and passenger side. So you got to go inside car, driver, passenger, outside driver, passenger, then come back and do those 4 shots again. So 8 there, and then you swing about 90 or so degrees, and there's a gong target about 747 yards up the hill. So I ended up taking a few bad shots on that one, and then I realized where I was missing, so I corrected and held it on the edge of the target and started getting hits. I think on the 2 outside. I have to look at the footage. I did film some of these, but once I figured out where I was off, I was able to correct with a hold and started getting hits, and did pretty decent on the car part. Got turned around, found the long target, and I can't remember if I got both of those or just 1 out of the 2, or I might have missed. I can't even remember. But overall, I got 6 out of those total 10. So then after it was all over, we kind of met back up on the top of the hill where we started, and we had a bonus stage that we could do, a blackjack stage. So at 550 yards, there was pretty much a plate rack, 12-inch, then a 10-inch, 8-inch, 4-inch, and 3-inch. And I figured, why not? I'll go ahead and chip in, see if I can get any good hits on this one. So on that one, I was using my game changer for my rear bag, and for some reason, whenever I was trying to find the find where the plate rack was and get settled, my stock would set in here nice, and everything was perfectly smooth and steady while I was looking at it. And then I put my mag in and say I'm ready to go, and get settled back up again. And then next thing I realize is everything's kind of twitching. So I was like, man, why is it? My reticle is super steady when I'm just finding the targets and like dry fire practicing on them. As soon as it's on the clock for time, then everything starts wiggling around a little bit. So Need to figure out what I'm doing wrong there and get that more steady. But anyways, I only got the 12, 10, and 8, and then I was missing on the 4, and I couldn't tell where I was missing from. I was trying to correct a little bit. Some of that may be just ammo inconsistencies that are just different enough that I was not getting super consistent impacts where I expected them to be. So hopefully that, if that was the issue, I should be able to correct that soon once I get my own loads worked up, which I've got a pretty good starting load figured out now. I just need to get enough brass together to put enough of my own ammo together for a match. So currently I'm at like a 7 SD, and the factory ammo that I'm running is like 40 to 50 SD. So much more consistent when I'm making it myself. So I really need to get that project done so that I can have something that I'm confident in and will hit where I'm expecting it to hit much more consistently. So as you can tell, I had myself a very busy weekend. You know what would make me feel better? My arms are sore as can be, but if you take a look down there, make sure you're subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you're hitting the thumbs up button as well. That, I'm pretty sure, would make all this sore muscle go away. Let's give it a try. It's worth a shot at least, don't you think? I'd really appreciate it. So now that we're to Monday evening, I can start trying to rest and recover a little bit, although I've got to go to work tomorrow morning and start my typical work week and get back after it. So I do not like being slow and lazy, so this works for me. I kind of took it a little bit easy this afternoon and rested up just a little bit, but as soon as tomorrow morning happens, I'm going to be right at it, running 100% again, trying to get as much done as I possibly can. Well, I hope you like hearing about how my matches went. My pistol match went pretty good with the conditions and how my hands get really, really sore and cold. I'm pretty pleased with how I finished. I know there's a couple things I need to work on and just stay a little more steady, try to keep my hands warmer. But overall, I can't be too displeased with it. I'm very happy with my overall finish there. And then for the PRS match, finishing third overall, once I saw the scores got posted, I was shocked. So this is my best finish so far. Let me just admit, there was 2 people that were not there that usually finish ahead of me. So, you know, I got lucky in that respect. But still, I'm pretty happy with third overall. And for the majority of the stages, I got more than half of the hits. There was those 2 stages that I did kind of poorly on, but for the most part, I did at least 50 to 60% of the total score. So I just need to work on getting that up to 70%. It's going to be my next goal, and once I can get that done, maybe even before that, I really want to try some more professional style at Ninica up here in Oklahoma, where they run the official PRS matches. So those should be starting up here pretty soon. So I need to get a hold of them and figure out what the schedule is going to be. But I do intend to make it to at least one of those this year, hopefully in the spring. I just want to go out, jump into it, see how I do with a bigger field of competitors and get an idea of what I need to work on next. So I'm getting a little bit of confidence built up doing these local ones. So next big goal is make it to actual regional PRS match and see how I can do. So do make sure you're following along if you want to see how that eventually goes. So that'll do it for this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day and a wonderful weekend. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.